Ryan Noble, CEO of Family Policy Institute of Washington.
And I'm Brad Payne, president of FPIW Action.
Couple disclaimers before we get started today. Nothing in this video is an endorsement of a candidate, nor the candidate's endorsement of FPIW or FPIW Action. It's simply a public service to meet and greet the candidate. Also, this is pre-recorded and placed on several of FPIW and FPIW Action's platforms. Brad?
Beth, welcome.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for
Yeah,
having me.
yeah, nice to have you on. So my question's kind of a three-parter to start. Very easy. If you would state your name and the position you're running for, and then follow that up with a little background or introduction of yourself. And if you're willing, you can tell us a little bit about your family.
Okay. My name is Beth Daranciang, and I'm running for a state representative in the 46th district, uh, position one. And I've lived in Seattle and in the 46th district for 30 years and raised two kids here and who graduated from the Seattle Public Schools. My husband and I have owned several small businesses and worked with him on that, as well as other things.
Excellent. What would you say is motivating you to run for office?
Well, I'm running to give voters an alternative because I support lower taxes, public safety, women's and girls' sex-based rights, parental rights, and First Amendment freedoms. And the politicians around here, the legislators, have been radical, including my opponent. Um, and so many voters like me have felt ignored by our state representatives. We felt unheard as politicians passed tax increases, even amid inflation. They passed limits on law enforcement amid skyrocketing crime and limits on parental rights, as well as public school curriculum mandates that are harmful to our kids.
Very good. All right. Well, here's a chance to talk a little bit more about some of those issues. Looking for, let's say, your top two issues or concerns, and then what do you hope to accomplish in office if you were elected?
Um, yes, I think, I have been an advocate for parental rights and for protecting children for a long time, and that's a passion of mine. But I have to say that the crime situation, especially in North Seattle, has become overwhelming. And the radical policies passed by my opponent and others in the one party rule in Olympia um, just are a crisis that has to be addressed first. It's kind of like when there's some serious things to take care of, but your house is burning down. So you got to do the house burning first.
Mhm.
Um, my opponent is so radical that he opposed the police pursuit initiative when almost every other legislator voted for it at the end of the session. Of course, they wouldn't have done it a year ago or 2 years ago, but because of the initiative, they did pass it. But my opponent still voted against it, which is radical. And one thing I would do is work to reinstate common sense um, protections for victims by punishing criminals and um, stopping criminals. We protect people from being innocent victims, and we see too many innocent victims. For example, and they make a lot of statements that sound so compassionate and caring, like caring for young juvenile offenders. But when police here in Seattle have to encounter a juvenile 5 times with an illegal gun on the streets, so running around the streets with an illegal gun before they can arrest them, 5 times. And that has led to the highest death rate ever of young people. Homicides are they were an all-time record high last year, and this year it's double in King County, which is crazy. It's horrible. It's horrific. Last weekend, Sunday, um, uh, this time, um, there were two funerals for 13-year-olds killed one in Kent and one in Linwood. That's just unacceptable. That's horrible. And we need to do what we can to stop it. And that includes prosecuting violent crime and helping, locking up and helping the kids who are committing those violent crimes, as well as the adults. But a lot of times they're pushing the kids to do these crimes because and enabling and allowing gangs and others with evil intent are allowing these uh, juveniles and enabling them to do violent crimes because they know they will get so little prosecution, and that's just wrong.
Okay. Our fourth and final question, FPIW Action and FPIW presented you with 18 issues that we continually work on, everything from homelessness to addiction recovery, religious liberty, all of them. Any of those that you'd like to discuss? You've mentioned like 4 or 5 of them already, actually. So any other ones?
Right. I think parental rights are just so important and they are so much under attack in Washington. And that is something that I've been working on, including working on the referendum to try to stop 5599, which would allow kids to be hidden from their parents if they just mention that they have a gender identity issue that their parents don't agree with them totally on. Um, and that's just wrong because take away children from their parents with um, no legal recourse and no even process, no due process is just wrong. And it's harmful to kids. It's harmful to kids in their most vulnerable times. They need the people who care about them most, who will be there for them for the rest of their lives, and that's their parents. Well, and the to have the state hide them at such a vulnerable time is just really harmful to them and to the family, to the parents. It's horrible policy. So that's one of the things that I would work to overturn.
Excellent.
You're good. Well, Beth, I know that there we could spend a lot more time talking about a lot more issues. I know, particularly in the area where you live, but thank you for coming on. We appreciate the time that you've given us this morning and appreciate your thoughtful responses to those questions. And we wish you luck in the primary. We've got just a week to go. And so thank
Right.
you again for coming on.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, I'm Brad Payne with FPIW Action.
And I'm Brian Noble with FPIW. Nothing in this video is to be considered an endorsement of the candidate, nor the candidate's endorsement of FPIW or FPIW action. Like we like to say around here, go out there and love your neighbor by faithfully stewarding the public square. God bless.